Hello students and welcome to 11th standard physics, first PUC physics. In this video, let us start third chapter, motion in a straight line. Actually, this serious physics starts from this chapter, motion in a straight line. The second chapter takes care of physics, physical quantities, dimensions, numerical values, measurement, and how to take care of equations, how to take care of numbers. Okay. So second chapter is required to start physics. Now let us start with motion in a straight line. In that, important terms: mechanics. It's a branch of physics which deals with the study of rest and motion of bodies. So it takes care of both rest and motion. So simple. It is just a branch of physics. Next, statics. Statics is a branch of mechanics which deals with the study of loads nothing but force, torque, moment of a force, etc. when object is at rest or moving with uniform velocity. Okay, suppose this is a table. If there is an object on the table, then forces are acting on this block object, but object is at rest. So this comes under statics. This is a smooth plane. Here is an object which is moving with uniform speed, uniform velocity. Then motion of this object is studied under statics. If there is an electric pole like this and the wires on the electric pole, something like this. So under the action of many forces, see, these wires are pulling the pole and the pole is held stationary due to friction between pole and the ground. There are many forces acting on the electric pole, still the pole is at rest. So this comes under statics. This problem is dealt under statics. Dynamics. It is the branch of mechanics which deals with the study of motion of objects, taking into account the cause of motion. So this deals with motion, and this has to take care of cause of the motion, why it is moving, why the object is moving, and what are the after effects. So all those things comes under dynamics. Kinematics. It is the branch of mechanics which deals with the study of motion of objects without taking into account the cause of motion. Don't worry about the cause of motion, just see the after effects. Something like this. This body is moving with 2 meters per second. Under the acceleration A equal to 1 meter per second square, what is the final velocity in 4 seconds? See, we are not worried about cause of the motion. Cause of the motion could be force. Force is pushing this, but we are not worried about the force. So we consider velocity, initial velocity, time, acceleration, means that's a problem under kinematics. Now, rest. There is nothing like absolute rest. Rest is always relative. Observe this pen. Nib is at rest with respect to body of the pen. So irrespective of motion of the pen, this is at rest with respect to the pen. But nib is not at rest with respect to the paper. As we write on the paper, position of nib changes with respect to the paper, but position of nib is not changing with respect to the body of the pen. That is the meaning. Rest is relative. Rest is relative. Okay. Can you say earth is at rest? No, because if you consider sun, with respect to sun, position of earth is changing. So we cannot say earth is not at rest. Can we say a mountain is at rest? Yes or no? How can you justify? Mountain is at rest with respect to another mountain next to it. But mountain is not at rest with respect to the sun. Mountain is on the earth, right? If earth is revolving, then mountain is also revolving with respect to the sun. So that is the meaning. Rest is relative. Consider a vehicle, bus. There is a driver inside the bus. Is the driver at rest with respect to the road? Answer is no. Am I right? Because if vehicle is moving, then driver is also in motion with respect to the road. But driver is at rest with respect to the vehicle. So rest. An object is said to be at rest if it does not change its position with respect to its surroundings and with time. So if this object is at rest, it should be at rest with respect to its surroundings and with respect to time. Next, motion. Just like rest, motion is also relative. So we can argue that an object is at rest or object is not at rest. Object is in motion, object is not in motion. That depends on the situation, isn't it? Let me consider the same example. Bus is in motion means bus is not in motion with respect to the driver, but bus is in motion with respect to the road. So motion is also relative. An object is said to be in motion if it changes its position with respect to its surroundings and with time. If this is an object, if this object under observation changes its position with respect to this object, then we say that this object is in motion. There is a standard question. Rest and motion are relative. Justify. So using this example, we can justify. There are many such examples. Let us consider one example. A bus driver is at rest with respect to the bus, but he is in motion with respect to the road. Hence, rest and motion are relative. Motion in one dimension or rectilinear motion or linear motion. 1D stands for one dimensional. If motion of a body is restricted to only one direction, actually it is not appropriate to consider direction because this will become another direction. So that is why instead of direction we consider dimension. Okay. Suppose motion of a body is along x-axis, then its position can be located using only x component, using x coordinate. Since it is not moving on y-axis, it is not moving on any other direction, in any other direction, we don't need y-axis. So that is why it is called one dimension. So you can extend this concept to two dimension. Two-dimensional motion means y-axis, x-axis. If a body is moving on the plane of the paper, then its position can be located using x comma y. Students, you have used this concept, right? Cartesian coordinate system to plot a graph. In a graph, if there is a point, then its position can be located using x and y coordinates. Then it becomes two dimension because two coordinates are required. But here only x equal to 4 centimeter, x equal to 8 kilometer. See, only one coordinate is required. That is why one dimension. Two coordinates means two dimension. Three coordinates, three dimensional motion. So we will be covering these two in different chapters. Right now in this chapter, let us cover only one dimension. Motion in one dimension is the motion of a particle along a straight line. To locate the position of a particle, any one coordinate is required. Distance and displacement. If this is your house and this is your friend's house, your house, your friend's house. So to go from this place to this place, you have to take the road like this. The total length of the path is distance, say 250 meter, 475 meter. So distance is actual distance traveled, actual length of the path. Displacement means from your house, in which direction your friend's house is there means you will show in this direction. So this distance, shortest distance between initial and final position is displacement, denoted by S with arrow. Sometimes we drop this arrow. This is the actual distance. Distance is S. So SI unit is meter. Since it is meter, dimensional formula is L. Distance is a scalar quantity. Time being, try to manage. Scalar quantities are those which require only magnitude for their representation. Whereas displacement is a vector quantity. So vector quantities are those which require both magnitude and direction. Okay. So let us cover these two topics in next chapter. For time being, this much is enough. This requires only magnitude. This requires both magnitude and direction. Distance, displacement. Speed. Speed. Let us denote this speed by V, small letter V. Okay. So speed is the ratio of distance traveled to time taken. Since it is the ratio of distance traveled to time taken, it is a derived physical quantity. SI unit is meter per second. Dimensional formula is LT minus 1. Am I right? Good. Since speed is the ratio of distance to time. Distance is a scalar, time is a scalar, therefore speed is a scalar quantity. Speed of a vehicle. Speed of a vehicle is 40 km per hour. Enough. You don't have to mention direction of the motion of the vehicle or the body. Just this number is sufficient. If just number is sufficient means it is a scalar quantity. Number along with direction means it becomes vector. So right now speed is a scalar quantity. There are different types in speed. Uniform speed. Guess the statement for uniform speed. If a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, then the speed is said to be uniform. Suppose this interval is 10 meter is covered in 2 seconds. Next 10 meter is covered in 2 seconds. Next 10 meter is covered in 2 seconds. What is the speed in this interval means? It is 10 meter by 2 seconds, which is 5 meter per second. What is the speed in this interval means? Again 5 meter per second. If you consider entire interval this much, then total distance is 30 meter. Time taken is 6. Again it is equal to 5 meter per second. So speed is said to be uniform if a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, however small the interval may be. You calculate for smaller interval or bigger interval, you should end up with the same number. If it is so, then it is uniform speed. Then opposite of uniform, non-uniform. Observe this example. 10 meter is covered in 2 seconds. Next 10 meter is covered in 1 second. Next 10 meter is covered in 5 seconds. Now what is the speed in this interval? It is 10 by 2, 5 meter per second. In this next interval, 10 by 1, 10 meter per second. Next interval, 10 by 5, 2 meter per second. Or let me consider another example. 1 second, 10 meter. Next 1 second, 20 meter. Next 1 second, 5 meter. Body is not covering equal distances, so this is said to be non-uniform. Here it is not, this 10 meter is not covered in 2 seconds. 2 second, 1 second, 5 second. So this is non-uniform. So what is the statement for non-uniform speed? A body is said to be moving with non-uniform speed if it covers equal distances in unequal intervals of time or unequal distances in equal intervals of time. Students, make sure that you copy all these statements and you understand. Okay, don't try to by heart, try to understand. Instantaneous speed. This instantaneous speed is speed of a body at any given instant of time. Suppose on a road, if a vehicle is traveling, then the vehicle will have different speeds, isn't it? So while taking turn, negotiating turn, its speed will be less. And if it is a straight line, straight path, speed is more. Suppose what is the speed at this place, or what is the speed of the vehicle at 10 AM? Then that speed becomes instantaneous speed. So instantaneous speed is the speed at the given instant of time or at some place. At some place means since it is in motion, indirectly it is confined to some time. Okay. Next, average speed denoted by V bar or this angular bracket V. This angular bracket is used for average value. Okay. What is average speed means? Average speed is the ratio of total distance traveled to total time taken. So average speed is total distance traveled to total time taken. So in this, we are going to solve few problems, very interesting problems. So this is needed. Okay. And SI unit of average speed is also meter per second. Dimensional formula is also LT minus 1. And this average speed is also a scalar quantity. Next, velocity. Velocity denoted by V with arrow mark. So this symbol is used to represent velocity. Okay. So velocity can be represented by any letter, but over that letter there should be arrow mark which represents a vector. So what is velocity means? Velocity is the time rate of change of displacement, or it is the ratio of displacement to time. Displacement is a vector, time is a vector, therefore velocity should be a vector quantity. Now observe different notations. Velocity equal to displacement by time, x by t. X stands for displacement along x-axis. Okay. Velocity equal to r by t. Here r represents displacement. Usually we have to write, so displacement by time. R represents displacement, x represents displacement, v equal to y by t. Displacement by time. Whatever may be the letter, but numerator always stands for displacement. And SI unit of velocity is meter per second. Dimensional formula is LT minus 1. Okay. Just like speed, uniform velocity. Uniform velocity means if a body covers equal displacements. Earlier we used distance, now equal displacements. 10 meter displacement in 1 second, next 10 meter in 1 second, next 10 meter in 1 second. You find the ratio for any interval, that turns out to be 10 meter per second. Find out in this interval, 10 meter by 1 second is 10 meter per second. In this entire interval, total is 20. Total time is 2 seconds. Again it is 10 meter per second. So this is how uniform speed is visualized. Equal displacements in equal intervals of time. You have to take care of the word displacement in the statement. Okay. Variable velocity. Variable velocity or non-uniform. So velocity is said to be non-uniform if a body covers equal displacements in unequal intervals of time, or unequal displacements in equal intervals of time. 10 meter in 1 second, 20 meter in 0.5 second. Is it correct? No, I should keep time same. 20 meter in 1 second, 50 meter in 1 second, 1 meter in 1 second. See, unequal displacements in equal intervals of time. That is velocity. Average velocity. Average velocity denoted by this angular bracket. It is the ratio of total displacement to total time taken. For time being, total displacement is represented by x2 minus x1. So this difference gives displacement, total displacement. Total time taken t2 minus t1, or simply delta x. Students, get used to such notations. Difference is represented by this triangle symbol called delta. Delta x is difference in displacements. Delta t, time interval. Okay. We will be using this notation often, you will come to know. So let us restrict our discussion to this delta x by delta t. So this average velocity can also be represented as delta r by delta t. Guess the numerator. It is the total displacement. Average velocity is delta y by delta t. Total displacement by total time taken. Instantaneous velocity. Just like instantaneous speed, instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity is velocity at some instant of time. What is the velocity of a vehicle at 9 a.m.? What is the velocity of the vehicle at 10:30 a.m.? Okay. But this instantaneous velocity is systematically defined like this. Instantaneous velocity equal to limit of LIM delta x by delta t. Here you should write delta t arrow mark 0, but you should read like this: limit of delta x by delta t as delta t tends to 0. Delta t tends to 0. Okay. LIM stands for limit. This is a branch of mathematics. You will learn more about these limits in mathematics. For time being, let us use limit. And here onwards, we are not using this limit concept in our syllabus. Okay. Limit of delta x by delta t as delta t tends to 0 is equal to, when limit appears, then we should write delta dx by dt. Dx by dt is instantaneous. Delta x by delta t is average, whereas dx by dt is instantaneous. Okay, get used to this notation. D instantaneous, delta average. So what is instantaneous velocity means? It is the limiting value of average velocity as delta t tending towards 0. Means the denominator value should be very small. It should be very small and very close to 0, but it should not be equal to 0, not equal to 0. If denominator is equal to 0, what happens to the ratio, students? Again, if denominator is 0, what happens to the ratio? the ratio becomes indeterminate or not defined. Simply we call it infinity. Infinity stands for not defined. Okay. So denominator should not be 0. That is why this delta t should be very small as possible for the experimental measurement. So this is instantaneous velocity. For time being, for tests and final exams, this statement is enough. Statement along with the equation. Okay. Acceleration, denoted by A. Acceleration is the time rate of change in velocity. So change in velocity in the numerator, time taken in the denominator. So change in velocity is represented by V2 minus V1. Difference is change in velocity by T2 minus T1. So this is average, this is acceleration. SI unit is meter per second square, LT minus 2, dimensional formula. And acceleration is a vector quantity. Why acceleration is a vector? Because acceleration has change in velocity. Velocity is a vector, change in velocity is a vector, therefore acceleration is a vector quantity. Average acceleration. So average acceleration is the ratio of change, just like acceleration, change in velocity by time taken. Okay. So in the case of average velocity, we denote it by delta V. Delta V stands for change in velocity by time taken. Delta V by delta T is average acceleration. Just like this, instantaneous acceleration. So instantaneous acceleration is the limiting value of average acceleration. So we should write limit delta V by delta T as delta T tends to 0, denoted by dV by dt. So if d appears, then it is instantaneous. If delta appears, then it is average. So this is average acceleration, whereas this is instantaneous acceleration. Students, note down copy all the statements with equations. Okay.